Distance learning vocabulary for the COVID-19 age, 2020 fall. Synchronous learning. Synchronous learning is the kind of learning that happens in real time. This means that you, your classmates, and your instructor interact in a specific virtual place through a specific online medium at a specific time. Methods of synchronous online learning include video conferencing, teleconferencing, live chatting, and live streaming lectures. Synchronous learning means at the same time, and it's totally basic. It's just the parts where you and I, or you and a bunch of other students are in the same place at the same time. So that part is synchronous. So the part of the schedule where we're thinking of synchronous time, we should all be on a video call or in little breakout rooms of a video call. But basically that's the time where everybody is expected to be available online together. Asynchronous learning. Asynchronous learning happens on your schedule. While your teacher will provide materials for reading, lectures for viewing, assignments for completing, and exams for evaluation, you have the ability to access and satisfy these requirements within a flexible time frame. Methods of asynchronous online learning include self-guided lesson modules, streaming video content, virtual libraries, posted lecture notes, and exchanges across discussion boards or social media platforms. Asynchronous learning means not at the same time. So in this case, this would be the kinds of things where you would be doing this at home or on your own time or in breakout rooms or video calls that you've made with other students. So completing group assignments, completing individual homework, watching some videos and responding to them, all of that stuff would be counted as asynchronous learning. It's basically homework or group work that you've set up yourself. Blended learning. Blended learning strategies combine both online and face-to-face elements in order to allow students significant control over the time, place, path, and pace of their own work. The whole mix of asynchronous and synchronous counts as basically blended learning, the idea that we're mixing these elements that are both online and offline and together and not together into one big package. That's blended learning, kind of obviously. Face-to-face learning, or in-person learning. Students learning on campus in the same physical space as the teacher and other students. For the purposes of this electronic and online and COVID stuff, face-to-face learning is what we're not doing right now. It's, in the class, we're actually physically face-to-face and talking to each other and seeing each other there. That'll hopefully happen in the spring. Remote learning. Students learning online, not physically at the school building, either through synchronous or asynchronous activities. And remote learning is what you're doing now. You're remote and hopefully you're learning. Hybrid schedule. A schedule that combines face-to-face and remote/online learning into one cohesive experience. For example, a schedule in which half of the students are in face-to-face learning while the other half of the students are working remotely. A hybrid schedule is what we'll likely do if we get halfway to being able to be back in the building. So say we have a halfway decent vaccine or we have better treatments or whatever it is that's coming down the road, where we can have you in school for shorter periods of time, but mostly a lot still of this. So if we get to the point where we're not fully back in school but not completely remote, we'll be doing some sort of hybrid, a mix of those two. Flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is a type of blended learning where students are introduced to content at home and practice working through it at school. This is the reverse of the more common practice of introducing new content at school, then assigning homework and projects to be completed by the students independently at home. And a flipped classroom is something I think you're going to see a lot of going forward. A flipped classroom, the idea there is that you do the readings or the preparatory work for the lesson at home as effectively homework, and then you come into either the video call or the synchronous period or the actual physical classroom if we get back to that soon, and there you'll do like lab work, conversations, group work, talk to the teacher about doing the work, and go forward from there. So it's kind of the reverse of how things normally are, where the teacher would present, teach in class, and then you would go home and do homework. In this way, the presentation would be by video or reading or whatever other thing, and then the homework would then be done in the classroom where the teacher can help you. Flipped classrooms are tricky because the videos can be super boring or it's difficult to ask for help on the direct instruction part. On the other hand, it works really well because you can talk to the teacher in the classroom and get help right there.